SEO, AEO. It's the same thing, right? Well, actually, it's not. Look, I know we want them to be. We spent years mastering SEO, learning the rules, building the backlinks, getting the rankings, and we got good at it, like really good at it. And then AI search showed up and everyone kind of assumed, well, we have an SEO strategy, so we're probably fine for AEO, right? And that is exactly why so many brands are completely invisible in AI answers right now, even the ones killing it on Google. But that's why you're here, right? In this video, we're gonna go through 6 specific trends that separate the brands getting recommended from the brands that buyers have to go looking for themselves. We'll look at what the data says, what it means, and exactly what you can do to stay ahead. Everything we're talking about comes straight from HubSpot's 2026 State of AEO Report. Real stats from thousands of real marketers, decision makers, and AI citations. The full report is linked in the description for free. I highly recommend checking it out and sharing it with your team so that everyone is up to date. Now, throughout the video, I am going to show you how to build your own custom AEO strategist for your brand. It's way more simple than it sounds, and by the end, you'll have a working tool that can audit your brand, find your gaps, and tell you exactly where to focus. Sound good? Let's get into it. Quick show of hands and be honest. Have you ever asked AI what the best tool was for something and then just went with whatever it recommended? Almost half of marketers have. Real purchases based entirely on what AI said. And 42% of marketers say that they trust brands that AI recommends because if AI recommends it, it's probably been vetted. Your buyers are doing the same thing, and the brands showing up in those answers are converting those buyers at more than double the rate of organic search. That is not a small gap. AI is doing your brand trust work before your website even loads. By the time someone lands on your site from an AI recommendation, the AI has already made the case for you. So these people aren't browsing. They're there to confirm what they've already decided. And that's the difference between AEO and SEO. SEO helps you show up, AEO recommends you. So step 1 is simple. Find out if you're showing up, because most teams assume that they are, and most teams are wrong. Your first step here is to run the free AEO grader that I linked in the description. You'll get a brand visibility score across ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini all at once. You can unlock the full report for even more detail, but honestly, this score alone tells you a lot. Now, you're gonna wanna screenshot this because this is your before. Every decision we make from here is about moving these numbers. And when you come back next month and rerun it, you'll actually be able to see if things are working. If you're already a HubSpot user, you can skip this manual process entirely and just set up the AEO tool inside your HubSpot account, and it's gonna track everything automatically. All right, now it's time to build your AEO strategist. So open your favorite AI chat tool, whatever your team uses the most, and attach these screenshots that you just took and add the link to your website. Now, a lot of people don't know that AI chats are only as current as their last training update, which means without fresh data, you might get answers that are already outdated. So here's the trick. Upload the State of AEO report from the description. Now your strategist is working from the same data that you are. Prompt it to be your AEO strategist, ask it to study the report, look at your scores, and give you a summary of what it sees. Now, rename the chat AEO strategy. Seriously, do it now. This is the chat that you'll come back to every time you're working on AEO. The more context you give it, the smarter it gets. And we're gonna keep building on it throughout this video. So the opportunity is real. The question is, are you actually capitalizing on it? Because most marketers think that they are, but the data says otherwise. You know when your boss asks you how a project is going and you say, yeah, it's in progress. And by in progress, you mean you thought about it twice last month. That's most marketing teams with AEO right now. In progress. Technically on the list. 0 to show for it. More than half of marketers say that their organization is actively optimizing for answer engines. And on paper, that sounds like progress. But when you ask those same marketers how they describe their current approach, the majority land on one word: experimental. They're doing something, they just don't know if it's working, which in marketing is basically a tradition at this point. Right now, mid-sized teams are losing ground to brands with 10 times the resources. Not because the opportunity isn't there, but because nobody built the habit yet. But there is good news for those smaller teams. You actually have a huge advantage with AEO. We're going to talk about that shortly. But here are the two biggest blockers. About 1 in 5 B2B marketers say that they don't know how AEO works. And nearly the same number say that they can't measure it. So they're stuck spending time on something they can't track, which makes it almost impossible to justify doing more of. If that sounds a little too familiar, here is exactly what to do. First of all, stop experimenting without a baseline. You have one now from the AEO grader. Let's look at 3 numbers specifically. First, your share of voice score. That is how often your brand is being mentioned versus competitors. Second, which engine scored lowest overall. For most brands, it won't be consistent across all 3. You'll have one that is clearly weaker. And third, your presence quality score. That's the one that tells you whether your content is actually structured to be cited. And that's exactly what we're fixing in the next few trends. Now, open whatever doc or deck you report from and add an AEO section with those 3 scores. Next month, you rerun the grader, update the numbers, and you'll actually be able to see if anything moved. That is how experimenting becomes a system. You're welcome. To keep things simple here, just ask your AI strategist what is the most important thing you should fix first, and then ask how to do it. That is your starting point. But here is where it gets interesting, because when you ask what to fix, the answer is almost never what you'd expect, because the content types getting cited the most teams aren't even producing them. If I asked you right now what percentage of your content is blog posts, what would you say? 60%, 70%? For most marketing teams, it's even higher than that. And that's exactly the problem. HubSpot tracked thousands of citation data points across various AI engines to find out which types of content actually get cited. And if you've been putting most of your energy into blog posts, this might sting a little. On ChatGPT, comparison content gets cited the vast majority of the time. Product pages and listicles are right behind it. Blogs come in lower than you'd expect given how much effort most teams put into them. Now, Gemini and Perplexity lean more on blogs and product pages, and AI overviews actually favor blog content. So the answer isn't stop writing blogs, it's stop writing blogs and assuming that covers you, because it doesn't. Here are some of the brands getting cited the most. Monday.com has over 100,000 total citations. Adobe, Qualtrics, Gong. What do these all have in common? Strong product pages, deep comparison content, and tool-based listicles. Different formats working together, not just a blog strategy. So here is how to create content that actually gets cited. Go to your website and look at your last 10 published pieces. How many are blogs? How many are product or service pages? How many are comparison pieces? If it's almost entirely blog, you have a structural gap that no amount of keyword optimization is going to fix for AEO. It's almost entirely blog, isn't it? So paste the titles and URLs of those 10 pages into your AEO strategist chat and ask it to look at your current pages, tell you which ones are already set up to get cited, which formats you're missing, and what the single most important gap is to fix first. You're gonna get a prioritized content brief in under 2 minutes. That's your to-do list. And you're probably going to get back tips like you have no comparison content, or your product pages lead with descriptions instead of questions, or your most cited opportunity is a listicle that you haven't even built yet. But the thing is, even if you build all of that, if the pages aren't structured the right way, AI still won't cite them. And this is the part that almost nobody is talking about. So the other day I was making cookies. My hands were completely covered in butter, and I forgot to check what temperature to preheat the oven to. So I grabbed my phone, I'm like desperately trying to scroll through this recipe with my knuckle, and before I can find the answer, I'm scrolling through 3 paragraphs about an epiphany some woman had while baking. No offense to her epiphany, but like, is it 350 or 400 degrees? You know what I mean? So here's the thing. We actually trained ourselves to write like that. With SEO, longer pages ranked better. More words meant more time on page. So we learned to build up to the answer, intro, context, backstory, then eventually the thing the person actually came for. AI has zero patience for that. And honestly, same. It doesn't scroll. It doesn't reward time on page. It scans for the answer in the first 3 seconds, and if it can't find it, it moves on to a page that makes it easier. And your buyer who got a direct answer from AI in 10 seconds is already gone with them. When HubSpot looked at thousands of citation data points, the pattern was clear. The pages getting cited the most aren't the longest. They are the ones that look like an answer sheet, not an essay. 4 things that consistently boost citations: a direct answer in the first sentence, a short summary at the top, a frequently asked questions section, and a visible last updated date. AI doesn't just want good information, it wants current information. Title format matters too. Different AI engines favor different title formats. So if you want to show up across all engines, you need a mix. So here's how you can do that. Add a TLDR, too long, didn't read, to your top 3 pages. This is just a 2 to 3 sentence summary right at the top of the page. Think of it like the answer before the explanation. AI engines use these to decide what to cite. If you don't have one, you're making it harder to get picked. And while you're in there, look at your headline too. If it describes your product, flip it to the question that your buyer would actually type. Same content, completely different signal to AI. Now, add a frequently asked questions section to your top blog posts. Answer the specific questions your buyers are actually typing into AI. These are the exact questions that AI is trying to match to a source. If your page has the answer, your page gets cited. Honestly, the fastest way to do both of these things is to paste your page link into your AEO strategist and ask if the page is structured to get cited by AI and what's missing. It will tell you exactly what to fix. Now, here is what almost every brand completely misses. AI isn't only reading your website, and the biggest citation source right now, nobody saw it coming. When you're looking for a real, honest, unfiltered opinion about something, not the brand's version, not a paid review, you know the ones I mean, where do you tend to go? For a lot of you, I'm guessing it's Reddit, and if it's not, it's somewhere like it. A forum, a community, somewhere real people are talking without a marketing budget behind them. You know who else goes there? AI. Didn't see that one coming, did ya? Reddit received nearly 300,000 citations across major AI engines in just a 3-month window. For context, that is more citations than most brand blogs have accumulated across their entire domain. LinkedIn and YouTube are right behind it because AI trusts places where real expertise shows up. Practitioner posts, demonstrated knowledge, the kind of content that doesn't come with a logo and a call to action. So your buyers are out there having conversations in communities right now, and if your brand isn't part of those conversations, AI has no reason to recommend you. Your website alone isn't enough anymore. I know, I don't love it either. So here is where to show up. Start by asking your AI strategist to find the communities where your buyers are already having conversations. Then go show up in one of those places this week. And I mean you personally, not your brand account. Find a thread where someone is asking a question that your product solves. Answer it genuinely, no pitch, no links, just a useful answer from someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Revolutionary concept, I know. And when it's relevant, mention your company naturally. That name in a trusted community context is exactly the citation signal that AI is looking for. Same goes for LinkedIn and YouTube. Not brand updates, not product announcements, real answers to the questions your buyers are actually typing into AI. That is your off-site presence, and it's more powerful than most brands realize. But I know that there is a question still sitting in the back of your head right now. What about all of the SEO work you've done? Does any of it count? Let's talk about it. Yes, SEO and AEO aren't the same thing, but they're also not enemies. All of that SEO work that you've been doing for years is actually your biggest AEO advantage right now. You just need to know how to use it. So here's something that will make your SEO team very happy. Pages that rank well on Google are more likely to get cited by AI engines too. Your keyword strength, your domain authority, your backlink profile, all of it carries over, but it doesn't do the whole job. Good SEO gets you in the room. AEO structure is what gets you recommended. You need both. AEO is to be layered on top of your SEO foundation. And here is where smaller teams can have the advantage. When it comes to citations, your individual page's authority matters more than your overall domain, which means a newer brand with one really well-structured page can outcite a massive brand whose pages are a mess. You don't need 10 years of SEO history. You just need better pages. So here is how you're going to get ahead right now. Go to your 3 highest ranking Google pages. Those are your best AEO opportunities because the domain authority work is already done. Apply everything from trends 3 and 4 to those pages first. That is how you make your best pages work twice as hard. By this point, your strategist knows your brand pretty well. It has your report, your scores, your content gaps, your page structure issues, and your off-site footprint. So ask it to put it all into a 30-day action plan. 5 to 7 things ranked by what's going to move the needle the fastest. And make sure to ask it to look at your existing SEO wins and tell you which ones are the easiest to convert to AEO wins. And lastly, check if what you're doing is actually working. Every month, rerun the AEO grader with the same inputs and screenshot the results. Your share of voice, your presence quality, your weakest engine. Watch those 3 numbers over time and include them in your monthly reports. Then feed the new scores back into your strategist and ask what to focus on next. And if you want all of this to be running automatically, that's exactly what HubSpot's AEO tool does. It tracks your visibility across multiple AI engines, monitors your competitors in real time, and it tells you exactly which content is beating you and why. There's even a recommendations tab so you always know what to fix next. No manual checking required. If you're already on HubSpot, it's definitely worth turning on. There's a link in the description to learn more. So, more than half of marketers are still in experimental mode. The brands building intentionally today are going to be the default recommendation in every buyer's AI conversation by the end of 2026. The ones waiting are going to be fighting for mentions their competitors already own. So are we doing this or what? The window to get ahead of this is right now, and the State of AEO report goes deeper on all of the data that you need to know, and the custom AEO strategist we just built tells you exactly what to do about it. Everything I've mentioned in this video is linked in the description to help you out. If this video was useful for you, give it a like to let me know, and send it to your team so that you can all get on the same page. Now, if the world of digital marketing is moving too fast for you to keep up with, then make sure to subscribe to HubSpot Marketing for weekly videos and free resources to help you keep your strategy up to date. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. My name is Bridget O'Rourke. Feel free to connect with me online, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.